Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, Spark Nexus Journeys That Inspire. We today have Mr. Dushyant with us, and we here at Spark are committed to bring together bright minds to give talk that foster learning, inspiration, and wonder.
This is the 8th episode featuring Mr. Dushyant Mishra, founder of Unlearn and director at Mahika Mishra Foundation. Welcome on board, sir. We're so glad to have you today.
Thank you so much. Hi, Meera. Hi, Payal. And that was very kind of you.
Thank you so much for joining us today, sir. So, Mr. Dushyant counsels young professionals and college students and help them discover their potential. If you want to learn how to make decisions that you're proud of, if you want to learn how to navigate through the corporate maze, if you want to find out what your next steps should be towards a successful career, Mr. Dushyant is the person to go to. So we'd like to start off by asking you, Dushyant, to tell us, our audience, a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay. Being on this session, being in this call with you people, I have an inflated sense of accomplishment. It means a lot. I am here to take more than to give. And I'm interacting with some bright sparks. And quite literally, your name, the society's name is Spark as well. And I like that. So I have dabbled in multiple startups after that. None of them shaped up the way I wanted them to. They were across domains. And what else could I want to tell you? So 2.5 years ago, my younger daughter started a nonprofit. And when I was taking a break from all my startups, she started a nonprofit. I started working with her, and that gave me an opportunity to engage with a lot of youngsters out there who were working with that startup. It's a completely student-run initiative that she runs. It's called Mahika Mishra Foundation, and it runs an initiative called Letters for Change. So after that is when I started Unlearn, which was originally born in 2012, but took me 10 years to come to the stage that we are at today. And that's been my journey.
That's a really noble cause you work for, Dushyant. It's really inspiring to hear about it.
Okay, so now jumping into questions for CV. So how should one prepare one's CV? What are the things that shines through our CV? And what are the things that, gives us a brownie point? And what are those things which negatively affects our CV?
Okay. So let's understand, what does a CV do? A CV is a document which reaches the potential employer first. It represents the candidate, it represents the individual. And a CV's job is to make the person curious enough to meet you. So for example, if Meera's CV is to reach someone, they should look at the document and say that, oh my God, I want to meet this girl. I'm curious to meet. If Payal's CV reaches someone, they should say, yes, this document stands out and I want to meet. Now, once we understand this, then we can start working on a document which basically says that, how can I, at every step, how can I make the reader decide to meet? So this is the fundamental premise of a CV. What happens next is, you have so much to write in a CV. There's so many things. Every time you write something, the question you should ask is that, is this thing going to help the person decide or make a decision, a favorable decision in meeting me? So for example, if I write the name of the school that I've been to, so if I went to Government Patel Senior High Secondary School. Now, is this name relevant? Is this name actually making a difference? We all take a lot of pride. I did an engineering project on the fatigue crack growth behavior of heat-treated steel. Now, when I'm applying to a company, and that company is not into steel making, that company has no business of steel making, I don't need to mention this. They are not interested in knowing what did I do as in my project. It is not a decision-making point. Imagine you are a part of Spark, for example, and the society that you are a part of. We all take a lot of pride in saying that I am the treasurer at Spark, I am the marketing manager at Spark, I am the PR manager, or I'm the president at Spark. College societies, how their names are. My college had societies, like the festival was called Mitrutsav. A college in Mumbai has something called Ruha. IIT Kanpur has something called Antaragni. Imagine somebody sitting in Bombay reading that you were the president of Antaragni or the chief coordinator of Antaragni. Doesn't mean anything to them. But if you say that raised 30,000 rupees for my college society, what you are saying is that I could raise 30,000 rupees. And if I can raise it for my college society, I can raise it for anyone. You're talking about yourself. You can say that managed a team of 20 people to execute an event. You can say edited an online magazine. Now, I don't need the name of the magazine because the name of the magazine can be Monday Morning or Sunday Musings or anything. College magazines have very nice names. But those names are not decision-making points. The decision-making point is that I have edited a magazine which had a readership of 3,000 per month. So when you prepare a document which is representing you, you should not draw your identity from something else. You should add value to something that you work with. And what is the value that you add is what should come out. A key thing will be that always try and have numbers. So a readership of something, raised so much money, impacted so many lives. So people say that I work with Enactus. It's a society which works with the people at weaker end of the society. Now, if you want to say that I work with Enactus, then say that I work with 500 children over the course of 1 year. Add numbers to it. Bring some meaning to it. And see what happens is when you do this, it becomes a conversation starter. So when somebody reads this, the natural question they'll ask is, how did you raise 30,000 rupees? Tell me something about it. Now you have an opportunity of talking in the interview that what skills did you use to raise that sponsorship or funding?
Yes.
Is that kind of falling into a little different from,
that's very useful advice actually. I think thinking about how we frame what we put in the CV is more important than just listing down our achievements. That's very good advice. Thank you. So bouncing off of that, another question related to CV. Sometimes people mention things that are faked. They talk about being in projects that they weren't really a part of, or they exaggerate things that they actually did. So what is your opinion on this? Do you think it's a thing you should absolutely not do, or maybe it's okay in certain cases?
Your CV is your advertisement. I wouldn't take names, but there are companies which say that their detergent cleans the most, washes the whitest, and brightens the colors. There are, and I despise that. There are cosmetics which say that they'll make you look, more beautiful than anything. So an advertisement is supposed to do that, and it's only natural that people get carried away when they are writing it. That they try to write more, they try to impress the person. But the problem is that just like in a detergent, when you buy it, after you use it, you know that it's just like any other detergent. You figure out after usage. Similarly, in a CV, what happens is when a person meets you in the interview, they'll find out that how much of it is true. The less the variance from actual, the more credible you are. So you would want to come across as a credible person. A CV which says that you raised 15 lakh rupees for your college may get really, somebody really excited. Or says that, you managed an event with 3,000 footfall in 2 days. Can get somebody really excited about your organizing abilities. But when you meet them and they talk to you, they will figure out that it was actually 1,500. Or it was only 5 lakh rupees that you raised. So you would not want to come across as not ready. It's a personal choice. I would advise not to use it, but to each one their own.
So it's the marketing tactic, basically. So CV is like an advertisement, and you're marketing your personality or your achievements.
You are, but you can't get away with it. You need to realize that. You can only fool for a very short time. You can't really fool people for a long time.
Exactly, sir. I need to do that. So, jumping on to interviews. So, I'd like to ask you, sir, if you were the interviewer, what is that first thing you would look into the person you are interviewing? I mean, is it the personality or the communication skills or the level of knowledge or any other thing? I mean, what should one keep in mind while he or she is giving an interview?
So I'll not talk from an interviewer's perspective because let's take a relationship. You have friends who've dated, you have friends who've been in relationships and they've broken off also. There are a lot of people who stay in a relationship for multiple years and then they break off because they realize that this is not the kind of person I want to be with. They discover something. Now you get into a relationship after spending a lot of time together. You know, sometimes it's like 6 months. You've been meeting every day for hours, and then you decide. Probably you'll be in the same class, and then you decide. Now cut and bring this to an interview where you meet somebody for 30 minutes. What test do you have to decide that I like this person is the right person to work with? Because you can ask certain questions, the person can answer certain, and they're prepared for answering those things. So what I'm going to say next is something which is contentious, but I'll still say that I have taken countless interviews in my career. The fact is that there is no way in an interview you can establish that a person is the right fit for the role that you have. You are only betting on a person. You are only trying to find out more and more information about the person. It's extremely difficult to take an interview. It may seem fun. It seems empowering when you say that, oh my God, I'm going to interview 5 people today and I have to select one out of them. But when your own job is at risk because of those people, and that person who's going to come will work in your team and they will add value to what you are doing, it's extremely stressful. You don't want to bet on the wrong person. Now, as a person, as a candidate, what can you prepare for? You can look your best. Now, that does not mean that you have to make up, you have to, wear something out of the ordinary. You have to look crisp. The second thing that you can do is, a lot of people say that you have to be confident. No, I don't say that you should be confident. I was nervous when I got into this call. And I confessed it when we started. It's okay to be nervous. Because nervousness means that you're serious. It means a lot to you. If you are not nervous, it means that either you don't care for it or you don't have, it doesn't really matter to you. That's the only time you'll not be nervous. If you're nervous, if you're really nervous, you can tell just the way I totally feel when I got into the call. And that made you empathize with me, though this man is nervous here. So if you tell your interviewer that, can I get a glass of water? Can I take a moment? It breaks those boundaries. The other thing that you can do is try and be honest in whatever you're answering. The beauty is that when you're honest, you don't, Mark Twain said this, you don't have to remember what you said. So whatever they ask, if you've done something, say it the way it is. If your CV says, if you're being honest in your CV and if you are saying what you've done honestly, you will not have to think. Yeah. Whatever you say will be the truth. And that makes you comfortable. Interviews are not about being confident. Interviews are about being comfortable. Yeah, there's this misconception. I need to look strong and I need to look in the eyes and talk like that. No, you're not doing all of that. You're going to work with that person. You have to be comfortable with them and they have to be comfortable with you. Yes, Meera, you were asking something.
Yeah. So when I read up about tips to take interviews, I've seen some people say that if you say you're nervous in the beginning of the interview, it actually negatively affects your chances. What do you think, sir? I've seen some people say that, in opinion.
Anything which is false is something that doesn't go long. So if you are nervous and you say that I'm not, and you think that I'll act confident and get through it, no, it will not. And this whole idea of saying that nervousness is bad is a false idea in itself. You can read about some of the top performers. So, for example, Sachin Tendulkar, Virendra Sehwag, Roger Federer, Madonna, Taylor Swift, any of these people, before they step out to perform, they are nervous wrecks, extremely, extremely nervous. Some of the movies depict that. You can watch the movie which was based on the life of one of the greatest footballers, Pele. So when he played his first match of World Cup, he was puking all over. He could barely stand because, at the age of 18, standing out in front of a stadium which is 30,000 people is not an easy task. And somebody would be lying if they say they are not being nervous. No. Embrace your nervousness. Don't let it rule you. See, there are two things. I can't be like, oh my God, I don't know what will happen next. No, it's okay. So if you're nervous, say that I'm nervous. Because this means a lot to me. It's a very important interview for me. It's okay to say that. Say that, is it okay if I can have a sip of water? And can you give me a minute to adjust? Maybe we can talk something right now. People are compassionate. Don't let the nervousness.
Thank you, Dushyant. So sometimes in interviews, they ask you questions where you don't know the answer and your brain just kind of blanks and you don't know what to say. So how do you think we should respond when they ask you a question and you're not sure how to answer? Or you don't know the answer?
So this is one question when I don't know the answer. So honesty is the best policy. One, we should not be eager to answer. Always listen to a question. If you're nervous, to overcome the nervousness, a good idea is saying that, so Meera, you want to know that what do you do when somebody is unsure of the answer, they're not sure of what they're going to answer. When you repeat the question, you're basically saying, this is called syncing with or mirroring the person that you're talking to. When you start mirroring people, they like you. Now that's a psychological fact. So if you say you want to have samosas, see you and I are out for a meeting, and you say you want to have a samosa, and I say, hey, I'll also have a samosa. You will take a liking for me, and I will take a liking for you because I'm mirroring you. If we step out and you say I want to have chola bhatura, and I say, well, I also want to have chola bhatura. So do that. It's a simple psychological trick. Repeat the question after the person. Then, if you don't know the answer, take a break, think through, and say that I don't think to be knowing this answer. Don't be apologetic about it. Don't say, I'm sorry, I don't know. You don't have to. It's okay not to know answers. You are not an Alexa. You're not supposed to answer everything. You're not a Google. So it's okay to say that I don't seem to be knowing the answer. What happens? What does I'm sorry mean? I'm sorry means that you were supposed to know it and you don't. Even if you're supposed to know it.
What I was saying is, one more thing that happens is, if they ask me a question and I kind of hesitate and I'm not sure what to say, they say, it's okay, take your time. And that stresses me out even more. And I simply cannot think of the answer. Do you have any suggestions, advice maybe?
Stress happens when you don't want to be in a situation. That's what we call stress. So think of a simple situation. You are standing at home, you drop a glass, it breaks, your mom comes there and starts looking at you and you are stressed. Oh my God. Can I just disappear from here? Can this glass disappear from here? For that few seconds, you just want to be off that situation. Like in Doraemon, can I have this, invisible cloak?
Yeah.
We all have those situations. That's what stress is. The beauty of stress is when you embrace the situation, it seems to disappear. It seems to reduce. So if somebody asks you a question and says that, it's okay, you take 30 seconds to think through and then answer. Take the time, and then get your words right and say that, thank you. I appreciate you giving me the time, but I don't think I'll be able to answer that. And I realize that I need to go and read about this. That's the first thing I'll do when I step out. I made a mental note of that. So this way you are showing that you are curious, you want to learn, you are eager to learn, you have made a mental note of something that you want to learn. It's okay not to know 3 questions in a row. So they ask you 3 questions, one after the other, and you say, oh my God, it's a disaster. Now they've asked me 3 questions and I don't know any one of them. Then you know what you say? You bring in a little humor. So you say that, how about asking me the capital of India? Maybe I'll be able to answer that. it breaks the stress. So have a couple of questions like this, couple of statements which you can throw at the interviewer. Yeah, maybe I'll be able to answer that. So because 3 in a row I've not been able to answer. So let's not make it 4. For a change, maybe ask me the capital of India. I hope I'll say New Delhi. Something like that.
Yes. That's great advice. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to do that next time.
Exactly, and that's certainly gonna leave a better effect to the interview. Okay, sir. So sometimes there are questions which are very common, which the interviewer wants, an interesting answer to. Like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Why should we hire you? How are you different from others? Your strengths, your weaknesses. Most of us, especially our students, are unable to, know what should we answer to such questions. So how should we answer such questions, and what approach should we follow while answering such questions?
Okay. See, the most common questions, as you said, the first one is when the interview starts, tell me something about yourself. It's such a cliche that everybody starts with that. Then where do you see yourself in 5 years? Why should I hire you? Then what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? These are questions which do not help the interviewer decide that they want to hire you. They only become a reason for not hiring. Any answer to these questions will not make them hire. Now, this is a secret I'm sharing. Because these are not questions that are these are not life-changing answers. No. Okay, I thought Payal was frozen. So let's understand how do you answer. What is an interviewer looking at? An interviewer, as the person, is trying to evaluate you, that do they like you? Are they comfortable working with you? Will you be the right fit in the role? So they are evaluating you as a person. They are evaluating your skills. They are evaluating your communication skills. And that's why they are asking these questions. Now, these questions do not tell your professional skills. They only tell your communication skills. So don't talk about past. So when somebody says that, tell me something about yourself. So you should not talk about that I was born in this place, I come from this place, I've been to this school, I studied in this college, I've studied this course, and this is what I am here. Instead, try and say that over the last 10 years, I have accumulated skills and experience by way of being a part of various college societies and school activities, where now I am ready to start contributing to the professional world in a specific way. Talk about future. Talk about what do you bring to the table. What you've done in the past doesn't really help them, but what you're capable of doing is what interests them. Where everybody else will be talking about kahan se aaye hain, what have they done, but you will be talking about what you can do. The second thing about your strengths and weaknesses, a lot of people give ideas that convert your strengths into weaknesses into strengths into weakness, and say that I have an attention for detail and that becomes my weakness or something like that. No, you don't. That's very, very cliche. Instead, say what you're really good at. It has to be one thing. Don't have 5 strengths. Say that and take pride in saying that. And if there is a weakness, say that this is something that I need to work on. Don't say that I'm a meticulous planner. Sometimes I can get lost in planning. Don't say that. Say that instead, if you want to say this, say it very simply and directly that planning is something that I need to work on. Nobody expects you to know planning at the age you are. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to be parts of events and societies where I can do a lot of planning. Show evidence that you've tried to learn this for a week. Is that helping, Payal?
Yes, definitely, sir.
This is an example that I had. One of our viewers said that some people have a weakness, which is like, I'm not very good at working with groups. I'm not very open-minded. I don't accept ideas really easily. But if I say that weakness, it makes me look not a great hire. So how do I paint that in a positive way, I guess?
So common question, and I'll come to that. A common question is, and this is asked in a lot of college societies also, and a lot of people when they date also ask that, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And there's a new word that's come that, are you an ambivert? And a lot of people answer this. You know, people like labels. It's always convenient to have labels. Dushyant is tall, Meera is short, somebody else is this, somebody is that. You know, we human beings are comfortable with labels. Don't try and attach labels to yourself. So when people say that, are you an ambivert or an extrovert or introvert, instead say, I'm a good listener. I talk when I think I can add value. Change the game. So when somebody says that my weakness is that I can't work with teams, don't say that. Say that I'm an individual contributor. I work best when I'm alone.
Okay, so we're getting into the last questions. Dushyant, so you talk about the secret of getting a job without a resume or an interview on your website or your LinkedIn profile, I think. And could you please share that secret with us? We're really curious to know.
Okay, I'll let the secret out. So, see, we are all humans and we work with people whom we know. We like to work with people that we associate with. So imagine this. If you were to form a team, if you were to form a quiz team, who will you form it with in college? You'll form it with people you know. You'll not walk up to strangers. You will not run a test and say that, okay, people who clear this test, I'll form a team with them. No. You will know that these are the 2-3 people who are my friends, and I'll take them for the college fest, whichever is happening, say at Miranda House or Stephens or IIT Delhi, wherever. We associate with people whom we know. If that's the secret you know, and you want to get a job, instead of reaching out for a job, try to associate with people. Build associations. Once you build associations, once you build relationships with people, and I'm not talking of connections, I'm talking of associations, I'm talking of relationships. Relationships are far deeper than connections. So it's not just about connecting with somebody on LinkedIn. It's about engaging with them. Once you do that, trust me, you will never have to ask for a job. Now, there's a way for that, which I help people with. There's an effort that goes into it. There's a time frame that you have to take. And if it works, I can tell you that almost all my jobs happened without a CV and an interview. And most people I hired were without a CV and an interview. It's the best way to hire people.
That's great, sir. So sometimes we are asked questions like, why did you get, take a gap year, or why did you switch career paths? You were previously following a professional course. Why did you switch from that? And what do you think is the best way to respond to these questions?
Honesty. I have multiple gaps in my career, and I'm not ashamed of them. I have a beautiful story which I'll tell you. This is a story of one of my batchmates from engineering. And when she got back to work, it became extremely difficult for her. And people would ask her this question that, why did you take a break? And it becomes a very, very difficult thing for her. I can't even empathize with them because I can't even think what they would be feeling when something like this is asked. So I was helping her with her, and she was the HR head of a large company, a 4,000 people company. And that's when she was really worried about this. How do I answer this? And this after 20 years of work. Can you believe this? No, it's such a difficult situation. What we did was, I helped her write it very differently. I said that instead of saying that this is a problem in your career, say that I am most proud of taking a break, that I had a courage to take break for motherhood. It completely changed because she believed in the break that she took. She was actually courageous to take that. And she was proud of it. It's just that she was not saying it. Now she started writing in her sleep that this is the most I've taken in my life. It changes the conversation. Does that answer you, Payal?
Yes,
Yes, sir, definitely. Actually, it just changes our perspective. We just need to change our perspective to answer such questions. I guess. So one bonus question we'd like to ask you. So, what is your favorite book you have read till date, which you would recommend us to read?
A book. So, okay, I am not a voracious reader, but I will suggest a book which really impacted me. Is Surely You Are Joking, Mr. Feynman. It's a book by the Nobel laureate Richard Feynman. It's a very easy read. You can finish in a day maybe sometimes. And it's a book which changes your perspective towards looking at things. Everyday things that you look at, your thought process kind of changes.
Definitely check it out.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll definitely try to read that book.
And with this, we come to the end of our session. Thank you so much for joining us today. We learned so much, and I'm pretty sure everyone who's listening in, tuning in, are going to take away a lot from this podcast. To all our viewers, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed. And if anyone is interested and wants further career guidance, you can, of course, go out and visit Mr. Dushyant's website and learn for any advice that you need related to your career or in the corporate world. And if you have any feedback or suggestions towards that for us, you can drop it in the comment section. And please remember to subscribe. Thank you for watching.